we do stick with metal, but we jump, I guess, a couple decades into the future with Bleed From Within and Shrine. Now, Bleed From Within came back from a little period of inactivity about 5 years ago, upon which a lot of us in the UK who had been on board when they were putting out records like Uprising and stuff, which were good, awesome. This band's great. They never really got their dues. Maybe the climate is right for them to get a kind of little bit of well-deserved platforming now. There are still those out there who are sort of haven't changed from that position at all of like, Bleed From Within are the most underrated metal band in the world or whatever. And if you think they should be playing, fucking Wembley Arena, then sure, they still need the love. But I think it's accurate to say that with every consecutive album they've put out since coming back, they have both, improved their craft and their songwriting to demand more of that success. But they've also entrenched themselves more firmly than ever before as a really prominent modern metal band, where Fracture comfortably saw the best reception for an album that they'd ever had. Much like we spoke about with Malevolence last time, they spent the summer when live music returned fucking tearing up stages at places like Bloodstock and Download Pilot, putting on big pyro-heavy live shows, grabbing those crowds by the horns. And even before that, they were doing things like opening up Lamb of God live streams. Like, in the last week before this album came out, we had Corey Taylor saying how much he loved them on social media and stuff like that. Bleed From Within are kind of a big deal now, right?
Yeah, no, like, even, like, they did, like, a headline tour, which, like, sold out the Dome, which for a, like, UK metal band, that's, like, bigger than the Underworld, their position has been really solidified in the last year or so, like as like a solid and respectable UK metal band who people can like, and it's growing like each time. I mean, I'm still kind of on the end. I was like, they should be bigger. They should still be like.
I think it's a fine position, but I do think when people go, they're still so underrated. It's like that kind of like, again, a lot of our American listeners who like go for the kind of big metal sound do now often cite this band as like a favourite as much as any of the kind of North American buzz bands that you would expect. And the End of All We Know has something like 20 million plays for them on streaming. Like, they're not doing nobody numbers anymore. So I think for Shrine, I wasn't looking this time for like, what can this band do to finally like assert themselves and make people pay attention. It is more for me kind of solidifying their position as that band who can regularly go onto big stages and blow them up. And this record, to me, it does sound like a band who are really enjoying being at that stage of their career, being, confident in that sound that they've established for themselves.
Yeah, no, this is Bleed From Within doing what Bleed From Within do, but bigger, and it's more ambitious. It's sticking to their core sound of big, crushing, like groove-laden metal. If you like Modern Parkway Drive, Bleed From Within are doing a very similar thing, maybe leaning more into like the heavier side of things. But this is more of that. It's a real consolidation of what they've been doing across these comeback records.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're clearly on a roll of writing them as well, because the last one came out during lockdown, and we're on another one now.
It was like 2017 was era, wasn't it? And then.
Yeah, 2018. It was 2020 was the last one. And it wasn't too long before that we had a 5-year wait from them. And now they are like pretty much the most productive metal band of their size in the country.
Yeah, no, that they have been churning them out solidly since the comeback. And I think it kind of speaks of where they're at creatively and how they are really trying to make up for lost time, I guess, with that gap.
Yeah, I think they can be a bit of a double-edged sword, Bleed From Within, because part of the reason that it's taken quite a long time, 5 or 6 albums, to like really assert themselves on the map is because their sound doesn't put them far out of the shadow of their influences. Like, we've always said, Lamb of God as like the clear roadmap band, but as they've gotten bigger too, there's very clear newer Architects kind of arena metal stomp straight out of the gate on I Am Damnation. The verses there are very like modern day Winston McCall, like we were talking about earlier.
The crushed kind of like thing.
Yeah, the kind of more grandiose heavy metal melodies, very Latter Day Parkway as well. The way that they use strings and stuff on this record is kind of a step up from previous, but it's very reminiscent of Architects and Bring Me the Horizon and Parkway Again, and those are kind of.
I mean, you can even draw like Gojira with some of the more technical parts on this, like
omnipresent, oversaturated influences. The melodic kind of gang vocal approach draws to mind stuff like While She Sleeps. Like you can't tell me that Temple of Lunacy is not a Sleeps chorus.
Oh no, totally.
So you are gonna have to work fucking hard to make sure your stuff is like top draw quality to impress people when the sound is pretty derivative. But the other edge of that is I'm referring to is that when you crack the quality of the songwriting there, they are inherently pretty fucking crowd pleasing, and you are beginning to see, just anyone who likes this kind of music just begin to fucking love Bleed From Within, because it's stuff that everyone can get on board with when it's done to a degree of quality.
I mean, that's kind of why I've always loved them, is because they just do that crowd pleasing approach to metal, but they've always done it really well, and I just don't think they have things that make them distinct to them, I guess. But I do agree with you where you can feel some of their influences all coming together. But when you get a song like Levitate and you get that chorus punching through and it just sounds like so big and so like rousing and just like what I want metal to sound like, I'm like, yeah, this just kicks ass.
Yeah, I mean, this record, I think it sounds a bit like, a band who have like cracked a little bit of success and they are putting some budget into the recording to get results, and you get the strings that start coming in and add that bit of like prestige almost to I Am Damnation, and the moments when they do something a little bit outside of the box really are welcomed, where probably my favorite song on this is Flesh and Stone, which has that like blasting intro against those like
almost like that blast beat with that like almost slight touch of black metal kind of.
Yeah, it reminded me of like the more extreme Matt Heafy type material, or like the kind of choirs and stuff, and how he uses those things. Like that in general is fucking wicked, and then that 4/4 chorus that thwacks into. That's when I think back to that Bloodstock set I saw last year and how they just crushed the place. It's stuff like that just regular power that destroys, but it's a little bit more kind of dynamic against the other components of that song.
Yeah, I mean that song was really, when you get like the breakdown, then you've got the strings stabbing along with the breakdown. It gives it like another layer, and it's cool how you're right. They kind of dynamically move about in these songs a little bit more. Even the song like I think one of the great songs for that is like Stand Down, which at the start of that song is like full on party groove metal, and then in the second half it grows into something way more epic, and how it like starts on just this like big bouncy just like fun metal song and can move into something way more dynamic. I think is a testament to the songwriting that they've kind of really grown into.
Yeah, that kind of the elastic pull and release of that and stuff like that, and an Invisible Enemy, the kind of like just the sheer depth of that guitar tone draws to me like kind of newer Whitechapel and stuff like that as well, like really gutsy. And it is something like Sovereign, it is pissed off and kind of fired up the way that you want rebellious, rallying, populist type metal like that to be.
Yeah, Scott's always been a killer vocalist. Like he sounds fiery and angry. He's not like, and it never feels too like macho posturing. He's got a like believability to him.
Yeah, I love that. Was it The Worst Is Yet to Come? Like kind of throw your arms back, two-step monster.
Yeah, no, they're good again, just dropping those really hard lines that make you want to just mosh hard.
Yeah, there's the tiniest little element of some of that new metal influence as well. That there's a few cornisms in some of the riffs, but it's able to be integrated without sounding like a regression. The choruses are that UK metal chorus sound popularised by the likes of Bring Me the Horizon and While She Sleeps. It's good. Personally, I would like to see what a proper singer could do with melodies like that, because every chorus having the exact same UK metal gang vocal sound that every band has saps them a bit of their staying power and connection for me, but something like Levitate does do it to a strong degree.
Yeah. No, I assume remember that, like, because they have like they've across the last few records they've dabbled in bits of clean vocals, but they've never kind of really pushed that to the front and gone like, we're gonna have a big like melodic clean song chorus. It's kind of like mixed in with the screams to do that. You're right, the UK metal chorus thing, and like I still think they're really good at it. I think Levitate is the kind of the stand-up one for that sort of thing. But
yeah, I agree.
None of them are misses for me. Like.
No, it's commanding performances. Heavy metal on a kind of larger scale being played with conviction, and I think again that is the thing that kind of sets Bleed From Within apart. Because I guess similar to what I was saying about Creator, and you compare them to like other bands who are kind of playing the same kind of music, but it just doesn't hit really. Like so many bands playing music like this come across as kind of a wishy-washy box ticking exercise of like, you know, we've got to have this part and this drop and this.
We need to have the piano bit and like
and Bleed From Within, the kind of while I do think again sort of every chorus having the same sound sort of prevents the maximum emotional connection. I find it does, you know, the enthusiasm and power of just laying into these riffs actually comes across with them. And, you know, the kind of post-Architects While She Sleeps UK metal sound is never going to be like the most viscerally exciting thing in the world to me. But I do think Bleed From Within are in a position where, you know, most of the leaps they make on this record, like the strings on that, they are things that other bands have done before. But they put their fucking heart into it and their guts into it, and it makes that thwack you.
It's a bit beefier. It is just that little bit harder than what a lot of those kind of like I think like when Sleeps have had like some of the strings and stuff, it's almost a bit washed out. When Bleed From Within doing it, it's hitting a bit harder at the moment. Like, so I'm fine with them like borrowing just the things that are done in metal because they make it still sound exciting.
Yeah, let's do that thing that everyone else is doing, but like make it
hit it harder,
hit it harder, and make you pay attention to it. I can respect that for sure. You know, for me, it is. Fracture was kind of like they cracked like the big generalized metal sound in an anthemic capacity, and here they've put a few extra bells and whistles on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fracture is pretty much their peak at this point. I don't know if I like this as much because it's not as big a step forward as I think Fracture was, but I think this is still like I think Bleed From Within are great, and this is just another really killer record from them.
Yeah, which is, you know, I would agree, and I think that's where you go. Like, this is album number 6, and they did, I think, improve significantly across each of their last few albums. I mean, really, arguably all of their albums, they kind of
I think they've taken a step forward each time.
Yeah, and we've got a bit of a problem in rock music of like bands being forced into this position of still being viewed as upcoming bright new hopes when they've been at it for fucking 15 or 20 years. And at some point, like, creative evolution has got to level out, probably before they've actually cracked that kind of nut that we want them to. But is this record gonna do well for them in exactly the right places that, you know, have been turned on to their existence in the last few years and see them to continue, you know, reap some rewards? Easily, I reckon.
Yeah, no, I think this will just continue their growth. They'll never be on the level of Architects or Sleeps or whatever, but this will continue to solidly grow their profile, and I think that it's just going to keep going that way for them, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, more good shit from Bleed From Within. Good fucking run of a good few years for them. So yeah, give them the love and support.